I'm Rye, and this is Rye's Reading Corner. Thanks for stopping in if you are new, and welcome back for all of my people that have viewed my videos before. Before we get to the books that I read in May, I do just want to talk about kind of my decision to make this video today with everything that is going on. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do this video today, just because there's so many more serious things that are going on in this world than you guys listening to what I read this month. However, for me, books and booktube and listening to some of my favorite booktubers have really, helped deal with the anxiety and the stress that's going on in our world. And sitting here talking to you is a really a nice little break for myself and my brain and my mind. And I was hoping that you guys, when you guys watch this video, that will be the same for you. And you can kind of get lost in some of these books that I've read and listen to them and maybe get some new books that you would like to read yourself. So that's why I decided to do this video today. Again, like I said, I understand, there's so much more going on in the world than, what I read for May this month. But I'm just hoping that this can be used as a way to kind of relax, get your mind off some things. So let's get back to what I read this month. So May was an interesting month for me. It wasn't my best, it wasn't my worst. I read 7 books, and there was a wide range from 2 stars to finding a new favorite book and an author that I'm so excited to read more about. So the first book that I read this month was The Guest List by Lucy Foley. I was really excited to read this book because 1, I love thrillers, and 2, I've seen a lot on Instagram about people really looking forward to this book. It was the April book of the month for 2020. So I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this because I feel like people have reviewed this or rated this really high on Goodreads, but I did not like this book. I gave it 2 stars. I felt that it was really slow moving, and I don't know. So what it's about is a couple is about to get married. They go on an island. The husband is does a survivalist type show, and the wife is a really big internet blogger type person. And the island had been shut down for a long time because of some weird things that had happened there. There had been some deaths in the past. And they are the first people to have a wedding on this island. So the story is told from several of the different perspectives of some of the guests, the people that are putting on the wedding, like the people that work on the island, as well as the groom and the bride. So I usually do like stories that are taken from, or done from alternate perspectives, but there were just some of these perspectives in here that I just didn't like reading, and I kind of just skimmed those sections. I felt that it was kind of slow at the beginning, and there is a big twist. So if you do like the plot type, really big plot twist, that's, it does have one, which I really do. But I felt it was just so far-fetched. So I really like thrillers that are really realistic, that could really happen. And that's kind of what makes them spooky and kind of scary to me and have that thriller part of it. However, for something like this twist to all, everything would have had to have lined up perfectly in the stars. And it just seemed really unrealistic to me. And I struggled getting through this, and I feel like I might get a lot of backlash from this because, like I said, I did see that it has a lot of good, more 4 or 5 star reviews on Goodreads, but I didn't like it. So don't hate me too much. But like I said, I just felt that it was pretty, I don't know. It just didn't seem realistic to me that that would really happen. And for thrillers, I like when it's oh my God, that could really happen. That's scary because I could see that, happening in real life. And I mean, the twist could happen, but I don't know. It just seems so far-fetched to me. So I gave this a 2 stars. I was pretty disappointed. It was a rough start to May, and I feel like this put me behind in how many books I read this month because it did take me so long to read. So 2 stars, The Guest List. So after a thriller, I moved to young adult, and it was released this month. It is Hunting November by Adriana Mather. I love this author. I've read all of her books by her. She uses a lot of her family history, and she kind of filtrates that into the books. This one, however, is not, but check out her other books. They're really cool. This was this is a series. The first one was Killing November. This was the sequel. Like I said, it came out this month. I can't tell you too much because it is a sequel, but basically November is our main girl, and she has been dropped in the first book to an academy that pretty much trains assassins on how to, poisons and how to knife throwing. and they have had a role in part of major plots in history. And so it's not really historical fiction, but it does reference history to a degree. I really enjoyed this book. I believe I gave it 5 stars. It's kind of, she is looking for her father, and she has to go on kind of like a trail, and her dad leaves clues and to help her find her dad. I really liked this book because it did bring characters back from the first book, and which I liked them. They were smart choices, I felt like, to bring those characters back. They played a really important role in the book. This was a quick read for me. It was a nice follow-up to the last one I read because, like I said, I did not like it. But yeah, this is a young adult. I can't tell you too much about it because I don't want to spoil it, because it is the sequel to Killing November. And if you like that kind of like the Academy Assassins type school hunt group of friends, I think this is a good book for you. So this was a 5-star read for me. After this one, I did go to another, I finished a series. I finally finished the Red Queen series, The King's Cage, by Victoria Ayard. Guys, I'm really bad at pronouncing things. I apologize. So I've been reading this one for a while. It did take me a long time to read. I gave it 4 stars. Only reason I gave this one 4 stars versus 5 like the other ones in the series, there were parts for me that were slow. There were parts that I feel like I read really quickly when it was told from certain perspectives. But like some of the perspectives I just didn't really care for, and I felt like it made it kind of long for me. But I did like it. Again, I can't say much about this because it is the last one in the series. I don't want to spoil it, but this is probably one of my first fantasy like full series I've really read besides Harry Potter, and I really did like it. The Red Queen is one of my favorite books. That I did give it 5 stars, but I did give this one a 4 stars, like I said, just because it did take me a while to read. But it is a great book. It's a great series. I did enjoy the ending. So I finished the series this month, which is really exciting. I really wanted to get that book done. So then I moved to another young adult fiction book and to a mystery style book. It is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This was another one that I watched on Cody's Reading Corner. Got that idea from this book. The premise of this book I love. So it's an academy that is set up by a really rich guy. It was in Vermont, I believe. And it's like a different type of schooling where kids can pretty much choose their path of learning. And they usually are picked by something that they're really strong in some type of field. So our main character is really into solving mysteries. She does have anxiety, and I like the mental health representation in this because I am someone myself that deals and struggles with anxiety. So I did like that tidbit in here. So she goes to this academy because there was a famous murder and kidnapping of the guy that started, his wife, his daughter, and one of the students. And there is a letter that's left in all cut out letters that was given to the father that pretty much telling him, how should I kill your wife and husband, or wife and daughter? And it was like all these different like terrible ways. So I liked the book, how it started. I think the premise of it is really cool. It does go back, flashback between the 1930s of when the actual crime happened to present day at the school with our main character, who is, I always forget main characters' names, but Stevie Bell is her real name. I always forget character names. She's, again, trying to solve the murder while she's there at school she meets some awesome, cool friends. There is some LGBTQ plus representation in this book, which again is awesome, being the month of June. So if you're looking for another rec for any of the readathons that you're doing. So I ended up giving her 3 stars. I liked the beginning of it. However, I felt like it was slow at parts, and I really hated the ending. I was hoping for this really awesome twist, and the twist was just like it just was flat for me, and it was not what I expected. I was not really planning on reading the sequel. I was just kind of going to Google what, ends up happening. However, I did need, for one of my readathons I'm doing, I needed to continue in a book series, and I pretty much have finished all of my series lately, and this is the only series I haven't finished. So I am reading the second one. I hope it's a little bit better than the first one. Like I said, the ending was so disappointed, but I did give it 3 stars because there are parts that are enjoyable, and I like the premise of the story. So I guess we'll see what happens in the second one. So 3 stars, Truly Devious. Then I moved on to an amazing, awesome story, and it's called Horror Store. Again, this was a recommendation that I got from Cody's Reading Corner. I will link her YouTube channel below. A lot of her tastes are similar to mine. And what first drew me to this book was how cool it's set up. So this is the front cover. It's like all nice and looks pleasant, but there are some signs of like some creepy things in there. And then you turn to the back cover and this is so cool. Like, so this is by Grady Hendrix and it takes place in Ohio at a store called Orsic, which is a knockoff version of IKEA. And they do reference IKEA in here, which is kind of cool. And it's about this main girl. She works at the store. She just started working at this new Orsic because it was opening up. So she was transferred there. And some weird things happen every night when they come back into the store after closing, and that some things are really weird happening on the store. Things are missing, things are damaged. So their boss makes them stay overnight and some weird things happen. So I don't want to say too much because the plot twist in the book is part of what's so amazing about this book. So the first part of the book, I'm reading it and I thought it was good. I liked it. It's funny. I was laughing. And then, oh, holy shit. I did not expect the direction that this book went into. If you've read this, please comment below if you expected it, because I was completely blindsided. The way this book went, I could not put it down after a while. So the ending was just mind-blowing. I was totally surprised, which was, I feel like it's hard for me to be surprised because I've read so many thriller type stories and horror mystery type things. But I was totally taken back by how this story, the twist of it and how it ended. So if you're looking for a fun read, like it is really cool. Like it has like a map of the store, and on the different pages, there's the Orsic store. It has like different types of appliances that it sells in the store. So it's a really cool setup of a book with a major twist. So I would recommend this book. I think it's a fun book to read. I originally gave it like 3.5, 3.75 stars. I don't know what I was thinking. After I, excuse me, sat on it for some time, I ended up giving it 4 stars. I'm dying over here, guys. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I couldn't stop thinking about it. My only reason I did give it 4 versus 5 is that I did find some parts in the beginning a little slow. But overall, I think it's a fantastic book and definitely recommend it. So after this, I ventured to my favorite book of all time. Probably one of them is now The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I have never read Neil Gaiman before. I don't know why. I've already bought some more books by him, but I fell in love with this story. Oh gosh, I read this in less than 24 hours. So if you've never read Neil Gaiman before, oh my God, or The Graveyard Book in general, it's amazing. So it's about a boy that is raised by ghosts in the graveyard and his journey of living there. So it is really like spooky and kind of like a mystery type thing, but it's also a coming of age story and having to adapt to being a human living with ghosts and not knowing anything different. It has amazing images and graphics inside and drawings. I love how it starts off. So right off the bat, you have this really cool contrast of this black page with a knife coming out, and it says, there was a hand in the darkness and it held a knife. That is literally the first sentence in the book, and I was hooked. I'm like, whoa, he does not beat around the bush here. So again, I gave it 5 stars. I fell in love. It's definitely one of my new favorite books ever. It was such a quick read. It was an enjoyable read. I was laughing at times. My heart was breaking at times. It just hit all of those emotions for me. And it's much more than just like a spooky ghost story. Like I said, it's just about this also of a coming of an age of a boy growing up and trying to find who he is in a society where he doesn't necessarily fit in because everyone he knows is dead and he's living, and that struggle. So yeah, so this hits a lot of points. I 100% recommend this. I can't wait to read more of Neil Gaiman. I am going to read Caroline for one of my readathons, and I just picked it up today, and I'm super excited. So originally I thought that was all the books I was going to read, but I ended up finishing one more. So the Queer Lit Readathon, which I will post below, started today, and I started with a graphic novel. I've never read actually like a graphic novel on my own choice before, so I was super excited to read this one. It's called Pumpkin Hens by Rainbow Rowell. This is my first book by this author as well. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. It's about 2 friends that work at a pumpkin patch, and they are seniors, so they're trying to, it's their last day working at the pumpkin patch. It's October 31st, and they're coming to terms that life is going to be different soon, and they're going to have to part ways, and what's life going to be like without, once they go to college. There also is a little bit of love interest in here as well, which is kind of nice. And there's also LGBTQ+ representation, which is why I read it for my Queer Lit Readathon. But yeah, I enjoyed it. The graphics are really cool. I knew really nothing about it going in. I honestly had seen that there was pumpkins on it, and I love Halloween, so that's what drew me to this, and I'm really glad that it was a nice uplifting story, and I think it was a perfect read for today with everything that is going on. It just was a lighthearted read, and this is exactly what I needed today. So yeah, I read, like I said, it was definitely a wide range of books that I read this month. Sorry guys, my dog's barking, with what I liked and didn't like, but overall, you know, it was a pretty good month. So I would love to hear your thoughts and comments if you've read any of these books before. Did you like any of these books? Or maybe are you excited to read some of these books after my little spill about them? Leave in the comments below if you liked this and you would like to see more. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button below. I am newer and I am coming out with some new ideas and some new videos, and I would love to chat with all of you guys. Also, my Twitter and Instagram and Goodreads is all linked below, as well as any of other booktubers that I have mentioned. So stay safe, and I love you guys. Bye.